Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make an Ewok statue based off of the Wicket W. Warwick skin ripped straight from the Star Wars skin pack, just in case you wanted to use the skin yourself, and you should. Look at him. Most people either love or hate Ewoks. Guess which camp I'm in? I've been wanting to make this guy for quite a while. If you want to make him, here's what you're going to need. You will need some yellow stained clay, some grey stained clay, and some black stained clay, taking full advantage of the clay today. You will also need some black wool, some dark grey wool, light grey wool, and finally grab yourself some white wool, and those are the only materials that we're going to be needing. So once you have every single one of those, and once you've figured out where you want to make it, I'll be making it right here, you'll want to kick off your Ewok statue with this sequence of blocks in a row on the floor. Do one light grey, one dark grey, one light grey, one black clay, one grey clay, one light grey, one dark grey, one light grey, to give you the base row, which should look a little bit like this. And these are just the bottoms of our Ewok's feet. So once you've got that first row taken care of, this is what you want to do for row number 2, and we'll just be building this from left to right since it's semi-complicated. So for the second row, do one grey clay, one light grey wool, one grey clay, one black clay, two grey clay, one light grey wool, one grey clay. For the next row, do one yellow clay, 3 grey clay, 1 black clay, 3 grey clay. For the next row, do 1 yellow clay, 1 black clay, then make the rest of the row grey clay. For the next row, do 2 yellow clay, 1 black clay, then make the rest of the row grey clay. For the next row, do 4 yellow clay, 1 black clay, then make the rest of the row grey clay. For the next row, do 6 yellow clay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 black clay, then 1 grey clay. Now for the next 3 rows, just do 3 solid rows of yellow clay. So that's 3. Just got them marked out, and we just have to fill them in. And once you have your 3 rows of yellow clay, you'll find that you have finished the front part of our statue. And what you want to have is something which should look a little bit like this. Once you've got that taken care of, we can now move on to the rest of our statue. So, as always, pause this if necessary, of course. However, once you have taken care of this, we can now do the back of our statue. So quite literally come all the way to the back of your statue, come down to the bottoms of the feet, and what you basically want to do, you see where we have these light grey wool on the ends of the base row? You just want to extend these end light grey wools back, coming out of the back of the statue, each by 3. So like this, 1, 2, 3, and the other side as well, 1, 2, 3, like this. And now we just have to connect them together. However, it's not that simple. So starting with this left light grey wall, going right of it, you want to do this sequence of blocks. Do 1 dark grey wall, then 1 light grey wall, then 1 grey clay, 1 black clay, 1 light grey wall, 1 dark grey wool, and that is what you want for the first row of the back of our statue. And just how we did the front, we're now just going to build up the entire back, then we'll do the sides, then we'll do the head, then we'll be finished. So for the second row of the back of our statue, going from left to right again in our usual fashion, do 4 grey clay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 black clay, then 3 grey clay. For the next row, do 3 grey clay, 1 black clay, 2 grey clay, 1 black clay, 1 grey clay. For the next row, just do an entire row of grey clay. For the next row, do 2 grey clay, 2 black clay, 1 grey clay, 1 black clay, 2 grey clay. For the next row, do 1 grey clay, 1 black clay, 2 yellow clay, 3 black clay, 1 grey clay. For the next row, throw a single black clay on the ends of your row and then just fill everywhere else in between your clay with yellow clay. And now for the final 3 rows of the back, just do 3 solid rows of yellow clay. So that's 2 and that's 3 to give you something which should look a little bit like. So this is what you want to have for the entire back of your Ewok statue. Once you've got that taken care of, we can now move on to the sides of our statue. So come all the way over to this side of your statue first of all. What we basically want to do here is we just want to fill the entire side of our statue in with grey stained clay, except for the top 2 blocks. Those want to be yellow clay, so you just want to end up with something that should look a little bit like that. Top 2 blocks yellow clay, everywhere else grey clay. Once you have this, we can now build the arms. So coming all the way up to the top of the side, starting from this top left hand block, do this sequence of blocks coming down just in front of this top block. Do 4 grey clay, 1, 2, 3, 4, then do 1 light grey, then do 1 black clay, like that. Now coming back up to the top of this row, and again just building in front of it, coming towards you, do this sequence of blocks. Do 4 grey clay, 1, 2, 3, 4, then do 1 dark grey, then 1 light grey to give you something which should look from a front view a little bit like this, and that is just the 2 back rows of the left arm. Once you've done those, all you have to do to finish off the arm is basically just copy every single block that you can see there and just place 2 duplicate rows directly in front of those 2 base rows to give you something which should look a little bit like this, if you guys can see what we've done there. We started with the 2 back rows, basically just copied exactly what we have in front of them, and that gives you the full arm in all of its glory. So once you've got that left arm taken care of, we can now go and do pretty much the exact same thing on the opposite side of our statue. So coming over to the right hand side of our statue, first of all we just start off with the same principle, just fill everywhere except for the top 2 blocks in with grey clay. So everywhere but the top 2 blocks in with grey clay. The top 2 blocks are just yellow clay, as you can see. Once you've got the side taken care of there, all we have to do is the arm, and again it's just the exact same thing. So starting with this back block first of all, this right hand yellow top clay, building in front of it, coming down, do this sequence of blocks. Do 4 grey clay, 1, 2, 3, 4, then do 1 light grey, then 1 black clay, then coming back up to the top of this row, coming down, do 4 grey clay, then do 1 dark grey wool, then 1 light grey wool to give you what should be the exact same row that you have on the opposite side of your statue, and it is, just checking. And once you've got those 2 rows taken care of, you just want to do the exact same thing directly in front of those 2 rows to just give you your fully completed Ewok arm, which should be the second arm that you've done. If you manage to do the first arm on the first side, the second arm on the second side shouldn't really be too much of a concern for you. So once you've got both of those arms taken care of, and this statue is really shaping up now, it's looking pretty nice, all we have to do now is the head of our Ewok. So once you have reached this point right here, this is what you want to do next. So come all the way up to the top of your Ewok's torso. You want to be on the front of your statue, and you want to be hovering over these 6 middle blocks at the top of your torso. Once you're here, you basically just want to plant a row of 6 light grey on top of the 6 middle blocks at the top of the front of your torso, like that. You then, once you have your row of 6 light grey, want to do another row of 6 light grey directly in front of that original row. You then, in this second row, you just want to knock out the 2 middle blocks and then replace those 2 middle blocks with black stained clay. That's your Ewok's mouth. We're now going to build up our Ewok's face, and then we'll build up the rest of the head. So, building up on top of this second row, the row that has the mouth in it, you just want to do an entire row of light grey wool just directly on top of that row. For the next row, on top of your row of light grey, going from left to right, do 2 black wool, 2 grey clay, 2 black wool. For the next row, going from left to right, do 1 white wool, 1 black wool, 2 light grey, 1 white wool, 1 black wool. For the next row, going from left to right, do 3 light grey, 1 grey clay, 2 light grey. For the final row of the face, starting from the right hand side, just do a single white wool, and then just make the entire rest of your row yellow clay to give you something which should look a little bit like this. Nice cute little face, isn't it? And that is the entire face of your Ewok. Once you have that taken care of, we can now build the rest of the head. So come all the way to the back of your head, and starting from this first row of light grey that we started off with, this first row of 6 light grey, you want to, with your yellow clay, just extend this row of light grey wool over the back of the statue by 1 row. You know how the front of the statue, how the head overhangs it by 1 row? Well, you just want to have the exact same thing at the back of your statue, like this. And now we're just going to build up the back of the head on top of this overhanging row of yellow clay. So once you have this, you now on top of this back row just want to stack 2 rows of yellow clay. Then on top of this most left hand block, and I don't usually build things this way, but on top of this left hand block, do 2 light grey wool coming up, 1, 2, then do 1 white wool. And once you've done that, you just want to fill those last 3 rows in here just with your yellow stained clay. So just next to those 3 wool that you've just place yellow stained clay, just filling up the entire rests of your rows to give you the entire back of Warwick's head. Or your Ewok's head. I've been calling this an Ewok statue because that's what it is, it's just based on Warwick, but once you've got the entire back of your head taken care of, we can now do the sides of the head. So we'll be starting with this side first of all, and we'll just be building up the sides of the head exactly how we've done every single other part of this statue. So on this side of the head, first of all, you just want to fill the first 3 rows coming up in with your yellow clay. So that's 1, 2, 3 rows of yellow clay. Then, going from left to right, just do this sequence of blocks for the next row. Do 1 yellow clay, 1 grey clay, then 2 yellow clay. For the next row, going from left to right again, do 1 grey clay, then just fill the rest of the row in with yellow clay to give you something which should look a little bit like this. And once you've done that on this side, we now have to come all the way over to the opposite side of the head, and usually we just copy the side of the head that we've just done onto the side that we haven't done yet. However, this side is actually different for a change. So on this side of the head, starting from the bottom again, you just want to start off by filling the first 3 rows in with yellow clay, like this. And now going from left to right, just do this sequence of blocks for the next row. Just do 2 yellow clay, 1 grey clay, then 1 light grey wool. For the next row, going from left to right, do 3 yellow clay, then do 1 black clay. I don't know why it's different, but it is, and that is what you want to have for that opposite side of your head. Once you've got that taken care of, we can now just come to the top of the head and we can just fill the entirety of it in with our yellow clay, just like that. Very simple for the top of the head. And once you've done that, all we have to do now are our Ewok's ears, which should look a little bit like this. It's actually really easy to see where you have to place them. The ears kind of just go in line with where we have this yellow clay that's kind of like just stacked on top of this grey clay here, and you just want to do this. You know what, I'll just do it and then I'll show you guys the end result of it. It's probably easy. Let me just throw the ears on and then we can take a look at them, and then we can take a look at our statues. So that is what you want to have for the ear. Very simple, just 2 dark grey wool, 1 light grey wool, and you guys can see what positions they're supposed to be in. Very, very easy indeed, just in line with that yellow clay that's kind of just like surrounded by black slash grey clay, and that's all you want to have for both of the ears. They're both the same, in the same position, and once you've got those taken care of, you should have fully completed your Ewok statue. Look at him. God, I love this statue so much. I know that I say I love every statue. I'm coming to realise that I love every single one of my statues. So, once you've reached this point right here, you have fully completed your Ewok statue. Nice and easy statue, but I've got to tell you, I love this guy. I'm only making 2 more statues out of the Star Wars skin pack, by the way. I've selected my 4 favourite ones. I've already made Yoda. Again, I think I like him because it's a little cute statue, but this one's cuter. I like this a little more than Yoda. I'm also going to be making Luke without the hand, and I'm also going to probably be making Darth Vader. If not, I'll make Han Solo, but I'll probably end up making Darth Vader, so not too many Star Wars statues. I know the pack came out a little while ago now, but I like to spread these things out a little bit, and there we go. That's your Ewok statue. Hopefully you guys have managed to make him no problem. I really love this guy. Look at him. Look at him. It's adorable. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.